So my name's Cory Kleinfeld. I have a PDR shop and RestorFX Center out of Sacramento, California. Ryan and I know each other because we host a podcast that's definitely leaning towards or geared towards RestorFX Centers or people looking to sign up for RestorFX locations. The podcast is called the Masters of Recon podcast. So,
my name is Ryan Brewer with Dent Pro out of Lafayette, Louisiana. We have a dent company in RestorFX.
Try to keep a quick answer. So my dad started a Dent Pro also, actually different name, but same name, but different parts of the country. So Dent Pro 1991, I was 5. I watched him grow a big company and shrink, grow and shrink, grow and shrink. Every time you try to hire a PDR tech and you train them, a lot of times they want to leave. If you ask anybody in the paintless dent repair industry, probably the biggest issue with that is because it's so artistic that it's really hard to keep people on at a percentage. So it is what it is. The reason why I was attracted to RestorFX is because we were able to look at a product that was very similar to Paintless Dent Repair, calling it Paintless Clear Coat Repair. Some form of artistry involved, a lot of skill set, very similar customers, but something that we could actually scale. Learning Paintless Dent Repair takes 1 to 3 years to be proficient. Learning RestorFX, maybe 1 to 3 months to be proficient. So when you're looking to grow a company on the back of only Paintless Dent Repair, definitely a more difficult proposition than when doing it inside of a RestorFX setting.
Well, Cory just kind of stole that. What do you add to that? Everything was perfect.
Basically,
we both had the same reason of why we kind of got into RestorFX, and it was perfect. It was a good marriage. It was the best marriage for our businesses at the time. And it's been great ever since. So
yeah, and I'll add to, like, looking to add products is important to us. I don't want to be a paintless dent repair company and then add bumper repainting or something that's the complete opposite of what we do. So we looked at adding services over the years and just never really found something that like blended in, that was different enough, but also very similar, so that we could just add it into our suite of options. So that's kind of why we're doing it. That's why a lot of dent guys are doing it, probably.
Yeah. I guess that was really part of the growth of what we chose to grow fast or slow. And I obviously probably spent more money than Cory because I grew a lot faster. So it kind of works both ways. We have a really cool dynamic, and he grew a little bit slower than I grew. So I say I spent a lot more money, and if I had to go back, I would probably change a few things with that, but it was a pretty good.
Yeah, as far as the actual center cost, like the license cost, just that alone, is that a reasonable?
For sure.
So I would say the hardest thing for dent guys is that we think PDR is it's cheap. Like, you get a truck, you come here, you spend $5 on metal rods, and now you're a dent guy. Right. Maybe you can't fix dents, but like you're a dent guy. So when looking to buy a license, like a real company with a support system, with a store to order, marketing materials, all that stuff, it feels like it's expensive because it's not $5,000, but it's way less expensive than starting any sort of franchise opportunity or going to college. It's like when you compare it to a different perspective, it is a very reasonable number. I would prefer to front load that license up front. Obviously, RestorFX is we're keeping them in business by ordering the product itself to put on the cars, which is awesome. But I would rather pay the license fee up front and not pay just a lifelong monthly recurring cost forever. So I think they're very reasonable as far as what their starting price point is.
The visual aspect of Restore is unbelievable, right? I come from the paint industry, and for us it was like, there's no way this is possible to get what you're explaining to us, because it's a very visual product. And we saw it, we felt like every single person out there needed to know what RestorFX was and what it was capable of doing. So we just super excited about the whole aspect of RestorFX and what it can do for somebody else's business.
I mean, awareness, I guess, would be the biggest thing. We're just like Paintless Dent Repair. RestorFX is fairly new. Like, people don't know what it is. If you ask people what repainting a car is at a body shop, they know. If you ask people what a ceramic coat is, they know. Paintless Dent Repair, RestorFX, not as much. And so we're always trying to reach the people to kind of teach them about it, what it's about. We interview other center owners from all around the country and the world. We've had some of the the leadership team of RestorFX on the podcast. We've had technicians potentially starting. We've also done other stuff too. So we still talk about paintless dent repair. We still talk about other ceramic coatings, anything to do with reconditioning vehicles. I've talked to some of the leaders in the industry as far as making insurance claims, and so we're really trying to bring in all the reconditioning aspects into kind of under one show. Everybody's going to be in a different situation. So, I was in a situation with a lease on a small shop, and I decided to use RestorFX, and a good thing happened where I ran up on shop space. So I guess ideally in a perfect world, which we don't live in, I would have miraculously got a larger space that was available for me, and I could lease it right then. And so if there was anything I could change, it was being able to grow a little bit faster in that, because we did grow and then kind of just backed off because we ran out of shop space. It is a good problem. So, if I could look back, the only thing I would change, I did call Ryan before I started, and he said, hire somebody to go. And that's a very big thing inside RestorFX. So I'm glad I did it that way. I didn't go to training by myself. I took my hire to training with me. And so if anybody's considering doing it by themselves or going to training by themselves, I would say don't do that. Take Ryan's advice and bring your tech along with you. So
yeah.
Something to add.
No, I'm not a guy who has any regrets, so yeah. I feel like I've just done everything right.
Come on, I'll answer for you, dude. I'll answer for you.
What?
I'm gonna answer for Ryan.
Right.
I'm gonna start this. So you grew really fast. Well, okay. You got the license and you hired the center manager, the helper, the porters, and all that stuff. Yeah. And then you paired back the team.
Yes. I would have done more numbers, right? I'm just a guy who opens a business and just goes full throttle, right? I didn't have all the resources at my fingertips at the time to just sit back and say, what does my business really need and what can it have at that point? And so I just hired everybody, right? I would have probably scaled back a little bit and done more research.
Hired a little slower. Or
yeah. So it worked out, luckily, right? But that's where we're at. Yeah, so we talk about this on the podcast a lot. One of the main reasons we went with RestorFX was because of the support. We have tons of companies in our industry that just sell you a product or a service, and there's nothing after the fact. And that's what we would have never jumped on board. And it was that, and then the licensing, right? They're not a company that's just gonna send or sell RestorFX to everybody on the market. So that was a huge thing for us, was the licensing and the support that we get from everybody at RestorFX.
Yeah, I second that. You're gonna run into issues, just like starting anything new. There's gonna be a problem with application, or what do I do in this case, or if it's really oxidized, or I wanna do something besides a car, I wanna do like jet ski or something, like ask those questions, they have answers to them. I've never asked them a question and they're like, I'm not sure, let me get back to you. They always have an answer for me, even with a picture. Like I can send them a picture and they're like, oh, Alex is like, I've seen this before, this is what I do in that case. So super important. You don't wanna pay a lot of money to a license and they send you product and then you call them and they're gone. That's not what RestorFX is. They never have been. And they never will be, I'm sure. So yeah, I've been to 2 of those luncheons over here at the yearly MTE show, and it's gotten bigger every time, which is cool. So seeing growth in a brand is important. You don't want to sign up for something and then see next year that there's less people there. So that's obviously nice to see. I think the monthly emails come out. I actually like those a lot because you'll give like big automotive market analysis, which is interesting because I don't really pay attention to that stuff necessarily, but it's cool to read like, oh, they're doing this in Europe, car sales are this, Carvana did this, CarMat, like you give us like a 20,000 foot view, which in a small business, like running every day, like I don't ever step back and look at the 20,000. I should, but I don't because I'm too busy. So getting that.
But we don't have to because they got it, right?
Well, they get that to us. So what else? The marketing? Yeah, that's all I got right now.
Yeah, that's good. Same thing.